Hello and welcome. My name is Avisha Sadaginejad, and I am the marketing lead faculty at the Forbes School of Business and Technology. I will be the host for this session, which is called Ed Talks at TLC, Multipliers, Student Perspective. By joining us today, you acknowledge that this session is being recorded and will be shared with TLC-related materials. Microphones will be muted for this presentation, but we encourage you to post questions and comments in the chat. Also, we have enabled live transcription. If you would like to use it, just click the live transcription button at the bottom of your Zoom window. Now, I am pleased to introduce you to Dr. Jessie Upshaw. Jessie, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Avisha. Welcome everyone to our 4th annual Ed Talks at TLC entitled Multipliers, A Student Perspective. Whether this is your first or 50th Ed Talk, in my opinion, you are in for a session of inspiration and collaboration. And speaking of collaboration, I'm honored to be joined by 2 faculty and members of the Professional Development Committee of the Department of Education and Liberal Arts from the University of Arizona Global Campus that you see pictured here and on video with me. We will be your hosts for this very special Ed Talk. Along with our interim dean and department chair, Dr. Tony Farrell, we are pleased to present to you the real stars of today's show.
Meet our PhD in education doctoral students and alumni. Each of our scholars will take the spotlight soon, but allow us first to set the stage for their stories. Prior to today's conference, each of these presenters were given a series of questions to consider, all relating to the common theme to spark their individual story.
Let me further set the stage. This year, our 9-session Ed Talk series was inspired by the work of Liz Wiseman and her New York Times bestselling book, Multipliers, How the Best Leaders Make Everyone Smarter. The multiplier effect examines how leaders have the potential to either build capacity or drain the capacity of those around them. Being a multiplier strengthens a team and encourages the genius of all team members. The talent magnet looks for genius in all people. Leaders are able to study and identify a person's talents and be sure they are placed in the right places at the right time for ultimate growth and potential. The liberator is a leader known for leveraging stress in a way that encourages people's best thinking and work. A challenger finds opportunities to challenge people beyond what they think they can do, presenting an opportunity and asking the hard questions, allowing others to create the answers. A debate maker is a leader that frames the problem by creating a question, forming a team, gathering data, and then framing the decision. Now, the investor is a leader that invests time and energy so that others can take ownership of results by investing in needed resources while coaching and providing backup for the group, and also holding accountability. While considering how leaders impact others through the multiplier effect, we must also consider another type of leadership trait, the accidental diminisher, which includes leadership practices that have a diminishing impact on those that they lead, despite having good intentions. Becoming a multiplier involves recognizing our diminishing tendencies and resolving to become a multiplier. Now it's the moment you've been waiting for, time to hear from our presenters, or should I say, our multipliers. I'm going to remove our host video as we get started after a few reminders. Keep in mind, traditional Ed Talks are fashioned after TED Talks, the ever popular way of sharing personal stories using a short monologue format. We do this because we want to inspire and hear your stories, and we can best do that by sharing our stories. Our goal here is not to teach you anything new, as you are already an expert in your role. Our goal is to perhaps motivate you to try something new in your approach to student success, whether you are a faculty member, student support team member, administrator, or a student yourself. At the end of our collaborative Student Ed Talk today, we look forward to hearing your story of what you are doing or will do in your classroom or learning environment. Toward the end of our time, we will open up a time for Q&A and sharing out. Without further ado, let's get started.
Hi there, my name is Debbie Carpenter. I'm a doctoral student in the PhD in Education program at University of Arizona Global Campus. I'm also a full-time faculty member at UAGC, where I teach undergraduate students who are planning to become educators. I began my educational journey nearly 2 years ago on my dad's birthday, January 29th, 2020, and have not been in school for 20 years.
My name is Dr. Todd Fiore, and I graduated with a PhD in education. I've always had a degree of intellectual curiosity, but I never really thought about pursuing a path in academia until I started working for a graduate university in 2011. I had already earned a master's, and after spending time enrolling doctoral students and advising doctoral students, I got to thinking that I could do this as well. I earned my PhD and have since transitioned into a career teaching in higher education. And I've had several successful careers before this: hospitality, sales, finance, corporate training. But teaching seems to suit me best, and my doctorate has certainly helped me to reach this goal. You know, one thing about being challenged to consider alternative solutions is that it's a great way to expand your learning. One of the things I love about doctoral study is the whole idea of the reality of multiple perspectives. A research question can have different answers, and yet they all can be correct. And when an instructor challenged me one time to include multiple perspectives, it forced me out of my comfort zone. Learning in an online format can be routine. Discussion questions in a paper every week, discussion questions in a paper every week. And the more you do it, the more efficient you become. And by efficient, I mean you learn where to cut corners. And this is what I had started to do until an instructor challenged me that I needed to do more. She recognized that I could respond more critically in discussions and assignments, and she challenged me by asking follow-up questions that forced me to dig a little deeper. This influenced my learning by teaching me not to be satisfied with the first answer, even if it's correct, because other important answers could be out there as well.
Okay, something I learned as a doctoral student is to look to other perspectives to gain insight. In one of my doctoral classes, we were asked to look for opposing views, and by doing so, it helped to expand my knowledge and incorporate thoughts or ideas that challenge me. But I learned that if I push through those experiences while gaining these skills and ideas, it really does get you out of your comfort zone and develop you further as a person and doctoral student.
I've had instructors who pushed me to be more engaged in class. They shared stories, videos, and resources and asked me to apply these resources to my own life's journey. I even had one instructor offer an occasional 1-point incentive for being interactive on the course homepage, and as a student, I love that. The more instructors engaged with me in the course, the more connected I felt to class. I tend to take my cues from my instructor. If I perceive my instructor to be heavily engaged and interactive, I want to be too. I ended up getting more out of those classes as a result. My role as a former classroom teacher and current online faculty member has helped me to encourage my peers. I believe I have a talent for communicating effectively and interpreting directions, and I hope I have been helpful to my peers in this regard as we navigate through each weekly task. I've been in courses with extremely bright, experienced researchers and professionals, and when I am surrounded with that level of learner, it can feel intimidating. On an upside, it motivates me to craft and post my best work. When I post to my peers, I follow a structure I like to use as a faculty member. I refer to something specific a peer has said. I add my own value by sharing insights and relevant research from the week, and I encourage my peers on their hard work so that our dynamic is supportive and positive.
During my educational journey, I did face some challenges. I ended up having to go back on my dissertation when I first resubmitted it. I had to, change a couple of things. During that time, I really faced some challenges. I did go through some depression, some stress, that I wasn't going to be able to complete this. Luckily, I had some great committee that gave me the support and was there for me to get through the dissertation process. It did help show that I can look deep down inside of myself, get stuff completed, and ended up finishing my dissertation and building the confidence that I am a scholar.
The instructors that brought out genius in me helped me develop that through feedback, because the feedback was purposeful and meaningful rather than being something negative, which I originally viewed it as. And I learned that it's the opposite. It's to help encourage and develop my skills of writing, researching, and just becoming the best student and best learner that I can be.
An important realization I had in striving to be a multiplier is to understand the power of intrinsic motivation. Find out what motivates others and then feed into that. People might do something because they have to or because they like you. But when they do something because they want to, they can reach higher paths to success.
I am so proud of the last 2 years because this program has demanded my best work. Anyone who thinks that an online education is easy needs to jump into the fire with me. Instructors who have asked that I go back and revise sections of my assignment are the ones who have helped me grow the most. I crave specific feedback, and when instructors show me where I am lacking in detail and ask for more, when I have an opportunity to make an assignment better, then I really feel like I earned my grade in the course.
I was worried about learning online initially because with my personality, I need to be around people, see people, talk to people. But it really is a great experience because learning with my peers who model these qualities of critical thinking and problem solving, along with communication and flexibility, helped me to expect those qualities in myself and others, because I firmly believe that doctoral learners, we help each other grow and celebrate our accomplishments.
To be a successful doctoral student, I stopped trying to be perfect and I gave myself grace. I asked for extensions, not often, but when I truly needed them. I have 2 wonderful peers, I'm shouting them out, my friends Tara and Des, who've been in every course with me, and I lean on them in times of stress. We text every week and encourage each other through the submission of every deliverable. True confession, I have never been a first one done kind of student. I don't work ahead, and yet I never let my peers being ahead of me diminish my own value. In fact, I've always appreciated a glimpse of what's coming next. I've always been a celebrator. I look for opportunities to celebrate. My friends and family know this. I have approached this doctoral journey the same way. I celebrate every time my discussions are submitted. I celebrate every time my assignments are submitted. And when another course is completed and in the books, so to speak, I acknowledge this with fun memes and text to my peers. I consider every week down an accomplishment, and through my positivity and celebration of each weekly success, I hope that I inspire and lead others, even when the journey feels rough.
What advice would I give to current students? Trust the process, trust others. Find your tribe of like-minded people going through similar experiences as you. Commit to finishing, and most importantly, don't hesitate to make short-term sacrifices for long-term gains. You might not see every one of your favorite shows. You might not go to every Little League game. You might have to use days to work on your dissertation. These won't be a lot of fun in the short run, but in the long run, the sacrifice will definitely pay off.
Okay, I had the opportunity to have such empowering leaders in my educational journey. So I was able to exemplify the traits that influential leaders demonstrate, such as providing encouragement, using strategies that initiate critical thinking and problem solving, communication and flexibility, and modeling these strengths and skills of other learners who exhibit these qualities inspired me to expect the best and look for the best in myself and others. Because I firmly believe that proficient learners do help each other grow and celebrate accomplishments.
During my educational journey, the one thing that surprised me the most was that I was able to complete my doctorate program and become Dr. Dela Cruz. Faced with a bunch of challenges that probably discouraged me throughout my program. Not believing in myself that I would be considered a scholar. Having dyslexia, not enjoying reading, not enjoying writing. With these challenges, I was able to surprise myself that, hey, I can get this done. I can finish a dissertation and I can meet my goals. Advice that I would give the doctoral students that follow behind me is, don't give up. You are going to have bumps in the roads. You are going to face challenges, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm a proven example of that. And just keep fighting for your dreams, keep fighting for your goals, and you will meet them.
The thing that has surprised me the most is how far I am already, and that I have found a way to incorporate school into my life without sacrificing all my fun. I know the value of taking breaks and finding balance. The advice I would provide comes from mentors I love and respect professionally. First thing, having a doctorate doesn't prove that you're smarter than anyone else. Rather, it shows you demonstrated the perseverance and grit to finish something hard, time-consuming, and intense. It is more about strength of character and resolve. Second thing, when you feel overwhelmed with what's on the horizon, the enormity of the program and its components, look down. Don't think big picture, think next task. When you focus on the task at hand, the tasks get completed. The weeks go by, and before you know it, 2 years are in the books. I will use this strategy to climb the final hill, complete and defend my dissertation, and get hooded with my doctoral degree in front of family, friends, and colleagues. When I envision this moment in my head, my heart feels like bursting. I will be Dr. Deborah Carpenter before I know it. Thank you for listening.
And thank you, doctoral students, Nick and Todd and Debbie and Mary. While we were watching these recordings, I would like to point out that both Debbie and Mary are in the room with us. So if you have a particular question for them in the chat or an accolade for them, they're here. So be aware of that. As I was listening to the four of them, regarding the idea of multiplier, the things that really stood out as I stepped through this was, Debbie mentioned additional resources. Our curriculum does such a wonderful job of representing the course learning objectives. But that connecting point, to Debbie's point, is when that particular instructor offers that additional resource. That's what a multiplier does. And Mary pointed out, it's not one view, it's opposing views. And then collectively, perhaps arriving at new decisions. And Todd, he figured out how to phone it in and be successful, but not really do the reach that was pointed out to him by one of his professors, that this isn't about being comfortable in your educational pursuit. It's about being committed to it. And that's what multipliers do. And taking those cues, as Debbie reminds us, cues from the instructor. You can only take those cues when an instructor prepares and reviews and provides those type of things. And Nick spoke volumes about at this level, the doctoral level, what can the committee leadership do in what can be a cold dark night in writing a dissertation. It's not 10 pages, it's a lot of work. And so for him to point that out, that that he relied very much on his committee, and that speaks volumes to those who are taking on those roles of chair and committee member, methodologist. So thank you for that. So when we listen to all this at the doctoral level, it's representative of what's happening to our students at all levels when they've had that benefit of encountering a faculty member that is a multiplier and that is looking for opportunities to take them all further in their leadership. So as we've heard the testament today and the value of that today, I would ask that you would consider that in your teaching. Jesse's going to talk more in a bit about what's next with multipliers and us, but we certainly have a bank of videos. Should you feel like you missed something, you haven't missed anything. We have them for your review. Thank you.
And as Jackie said, we do have one more session in our Multipliers series this year. So I would be remiss if I did not mention to you on November 18th, if you'd like to join us. You can find the registration link in the chat box right now if you're joining us live. If you are viewing this recording, it will be available on the Ed Talks homepage as well. And join us as Dr. Tisha Shipley talks to us about becoming a multiplier. But now it's your turn to shine. We would love to open this up to a discussion, questions that we have for our student presenters. I actually saw a couple come through in the chat already, but also some questions to consider as we round out our time today. It's time for your stories and your questions and your next steps here. So Mary and Debbie, not to put you on the spot here, but I did see a question from Dr. Kelly Olson Stewart in the chat here. How did focusing on the idea of multipliers enhance your view of your journey and give you more confidence in your skills?
Mary, you want me to jump in first? I don't want to step on your toes.
That's what I was thinking. I didn't want to just jump in. Sure, go ahead.
You know, I think that one of the wonderful things about UAGC is that students come together to learn and share and grow from each other's perspectives. It is not, you know, a one-to-one between a student and an instructor. And so I think considering this in a multiplier context just means that you're appreciating the village every step of the way. You know that it's okay, in fact, encouraged and realistic that you yourself don't have all the answers, that you can learn and grow through hearing how someone else interprets a concept or an idea. And that also when you experience stress, when you experience setbacks, that when you have someone that you can lean on, that you can share with, and you realize that they may share some of those feelings with you too, you feel so much less alone in the journey and in the enormity of it all. So I just think that it has really opened up my eyes, not just as a student, but being a student has helped me be a much better teacher. And I really can empathize now with what all of our students go through being students here at every level and the role that they play and the challenges that they juggle. So I think that I just have a much greater reverence for the learner, and that's how I've really kind of enhanced my perspective.
I agree. Great answer. I have to say, I was very apprehensive about learning online, especially pursuing a doctorate with this type of learning environment, because as I mentioned in the video, I love to be around people and I do need that personal connection. So I was very inspired by the faculty that I've had so far at University of Arizona Global Campus, because I have never felt alone
And I have been given so many wonderful opportunities, and the feedback has changed who I am as a person. Initially, when I would get feedback, I got so upset about it, thinking it was something that I didn't know how to do. And now I learned how to incorporate that and look for it. And as you said, I feel like I became a better teacher through my role as a student here. Even though I teach elementary students, they're in third grade and they're super cute and little, but letting them know that I face challenges in education and I too don't always have the answers. It just makes you more personable and open, and you're able to, you let people know that you need them. And as you said, no matter what level you're at. So it definitely changed me as an educator, a person, a learner. And I'm very grateful and thankful for this opportunity and everybody I've worked with, faculty, my peers, everybody's been wonderful.
Thank you both so much. And I would encourage everyone here to take a look at the questions on the screen. If there's something that speaks to you that you'd like to share in the chat or come online to share. But we also have another question for our stars of the show from Dr. Jen Robinson. She asks, Mary and Debbie, what are the top two things faculty can do to be multipliers for doctoral students? Or what else can we do that we might not have been doing so far?
I think again, because I've had a multitude of instructors, I think that the more enthusiasm and passion that the instructor has for the content and the more present that they seem in the class, the more excited I get to go in. And so, and there has been a range. There has been a range. And so I would say that the more visible the instructor can be, the more interactive, within discussions, and also in just, I think, presenting some creative ways for us to engage and share with each other. I think Dr. Fiore made the comment about discussion question paper. It feels like that. It can feel like that. So when an instructor creates an opportunity for us to chat, like through the homepage, and to, share something funny, share something that's just representing your mood today and why, just something that takes us out of that routine of, what we get used to doing. Because if we do the same thing over and over, yes, I mean, we're smart people. We'll try to cut corners. We'll try to, find that way to be as efficient. And that doesn't always mean we're doing the best learning. So variety, presence, authentic presence. Can I hear you? Can I see you? Creating those kinds of opportunities would be, I think, those a couple of things, if I mentioned a couple of things.
I love your answer, and I agree. The classes that I feel that I loved being in and feeling like I really excelled without putting, I don't want to say too much work, but that didn't seem as challenging for me, were the ones where I could reach out to my professor, or even if it wasn't a personal connection, I had professors that would upload videos. So there was further explanation on what to do, and I felt comfortable, and you can rewatch it. Or professors who, like you said, would add maybe a little cartoon and something of their personality to let you know, they're people too, and we're all getting through this together. But they're supportive and engaged. And as you said, the variety, because there are days where I feel like I'm on the discussion post and I'm wondering if anyone saw my discussion, or what do I do next? Do I, if I want to reach out to somebody, I like to know that someone's there. And I know being in an online environment, we have different time zones and things like that. But as you said, just making the presence known, even if it's just a quick, hey, got your message, or just, as you said, making themselves visible and present in our learning.
Mary, I don't know if this happened to you, but I found, and I shouted them out in my video, my friends Des and Tara. Mm-hmm. And this kind of happened organically, where Tara reached out to me after one assignment, and we've been like buddies ever since. And I kid you not, like we text every day. And now we have looped in Des, and the three of us are every day. And how's everyone doing? And how's everyone feeling? I would love instructors to encourage every doctoral student to have a buddy or two via text as just another support system, because I feel sad for anybody that doesn't have a Tara and a Des to reach out to. And we need to kind of, widen our circle too, especially as we've gotten this far, because you start to hear and sense the fatigue, and you don't want to lose anybody that might just be like, I need a break. Yes, a life vest, Jackie, a life vest. So I would say to anybody teaching the early courses, or just any of the doctoral faculty, to encourage students to do that. Who do who's a familiar name that you can, share your cell phone with, and just start to have these circles, because it makes a big difference. It's made a huge difference. Like, I'm going to burst into tears when I see those two, because we are going to graduate in person. I'm hoping. And, I just know that it's going to look like a total family reunion. Like when
I know. And you're so correct in saying that. When I had my second class, it was funny because I didn't see someone that was in my first class with me, and I thought that I was in the wrong class. I didn't see the familiar faces, and I got really nervous. So it is nice to have somebody that you can reach out to and communicate with. And a professor of mine did encourage us to still get together through Zoom, and even if it's just a real quick Zoom, or like you said, a text message. And I actually last night had to reach out to one of my classmates, Edith, because I couldn't find something. Actually, it was the professor's email. So I had to reach out to her because I don't know how to find it in the inbox. And it's just great knowing that you have that communication and you don't have to hesitate, because we are all in this together. And I feel like I know the people that I'm in class with, because you read their discussions, you know what they're going through, because we're going through the same thing. So yes, that's so important. I love the connection.
Thank you, ladies, so much. And also a huge thank you to Dr. Todd and Dr. Nick, who are valued presenters and shared their story with us today as well. All good things must come to an end, however. So if you are viewing this later, please continue the chat and continue the discussion in the comments section of the recording. You have these questions posed there. We'd love to hear from you there, your thoughts. What are your next steps? How are you inspired by these amazing students and alumni who are the future leaders and multipliers coming out of this program? Without further ado, though, we do want to offer you the opportunity to download a certificate of participation for our Ed Talks series. You can find it on our Ed Talks homepage, and you will also be able to register for future Ed Talks there, both this year and next season. We thank you so much on behalf of our interim dean, Dr. Tony Farrell, and the Department of Education and Liberal Arts here at UAGC. We are so honored to have been joined by these amazing presenters today. Thank you for being here with us, and we'll see you at the next Ed Talk.
Thank you, everybody.